They face superbugs and daily violence and must cope with medical emergencies and shortages of every kind. Extreme medicine and extreme treatment, delivered by dedicated medics in some of the world's most dangerous places.
We call them red cases. Cases in need of urgent care that need immediate attention, medical attention. They can be fatal if not treated.
Doctors on the front line reports from a hospital in the lawless northern border of Pakistan with Afghanistan. Over 7 days we're given unique access as MSF and the Pakistani authorities allow us to follow the medics as they deal with the most serious cases coming to the emergency room, the so-called red cases. This is the Timagara hospital in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, just 30 kilometers from Pakistan's porous Afghan border. Taliban fighters using this remote border region of Pakistan as a base are targeted by the Pakistani army. There have been 5 suicide bomb blasts in this district since December 2009. Kidnapping is common, and with the region awash in illegal arms, disputes within families and between neighbours can be deadly affairs. And in this earthquake-prone zone, natural disasters are a constant threat. It's an intensely conservative Islamic society of mostly smallholder farmers. People here are Pashtuns of Iranian ethnic origin.
This is a highly weaponized society, and it has been for many, many years. A core part of Pashtun identity is that people keep a weapon in their home. And obviously the conflict in Afghanistan has further increased the volume of weapons that are sloshing around in this area.
Serving a 2 million population, the Timagara emergency room is run by MSF, Médecins Sans Frontières. Most of the other departments in the hospital are the responsibility of the Pakistani Ministry of Health. Overwhelmed by the casualties of conflict and natural disasters, as well as the day-to-day emergencies faced by any ER anywhere in the world, the Pakistan Ministry welcomed MSF's help to take over treatment of the red cases. Lal Badshah is a 27-year-old labourer. His leg was crushed by a farm tractor.
There is no visible injury to the muscles, to the tendons. The tendons are intact. There is no visible bone fracture. So we will take the X-rays, and then we will call our surgeon.
Dr. Rahim Mohammed is the doctor on duty.
At Ricardo, we have a patient with crush injury to the right leg and right foot. Yeah, you are coming. So, okay, thanks.
In all, there are 10 MSF doctors and 41 nurses in Timagara. A surgeon is on call 24 hours every day of the year. Since taking over the red cases, the medics have dealt with an average of 4,000 emergencies each month. As we're to find, most are not victims of suicide bombers and armed disputes, but are the day-to-day casualties of an emergency room in any part of the world, except that here hospitals are few and far between, and a near-absent transport infrastructure hampers the doctor's chances of saving lives.
We come to support the existing system, and so we felt this is the best place because it seemed to be the catchment area for all the internally displaced population, for all the war-wounded victims. Somehow this area also is prone to natural catastrophes, like the most recent floods and earthquakes as well. And what we saw is that the government doesn't have the capacity to respond to this. And the ER, the emergency room, is the entry point. It's actually the entry point for patients into the hospital. This is the point where we can actually save lives.
There's a maternal health unit in Timagara, but as women aren't supposed to be filmed, our crew is told on arrival that this part of the hospital is off limits. To ensure they are accepted by this conservative society, the MSF medics adhere to a strict code of dress and separation of men and women. 27-year-old Dr. Yashoda Manishkand from South Africa has to cover her face everywhere outside the hospital and the MSF dormitory.
Well, it's quite strange at first, and it feels a bit restrictive, but I got used to it, and I know why I'm doing it. It's for acceptance and for respect of the culture that we're in. In the car, females and males have to sit separately, so that's why all the females are at the back and the males are in the front. We can't sit next to each other. We can't be seen speaking to a man alone in public. The male doctors won't be able to examine the female patients completely, so it's good that I'm there. I can examine the female patients. I can actually examine male patients.
To be able to provide efficient, quality medical care, we have to be culturally acceptable, because misperceptions can be a disaster, actually.
Despite these precautions, security for the medics is an ever-present preoccupation. Every morning the team meets to evaluate potential threats. In the 10 months before we filmed, the district experienced 5 bomb blasts. On Friday prayer day on the 18th of December 2009, a car loaded with explosives was rammed into the gate of a mosque, killing 15 people. In 2010, there were 4 blasts in the district. One explosion killed 56 people. 160 injured victims were treated in the Timagara ER.
We don't know that why these happen. We don't know, and no one knows what's going on. First step, we were just not prepared for that casualties. You know, this place, this was full of patients. We were just seeing patient which was just crying and which was just they were about to die. So it was a very horrible condition. And during casualty, we were just busy. But after the casualty, everyone was crying, because when you see a lot of innocent people, they're dying and you can't do anything, because they were just someone praying and someone just blew them away. Everyone is telling that you should leave the casualty because this is the most targeted place, but we are here for patients. I belong to this district. I got a lot of offers, good offers to work, but I'm here for my community. This is the purpose of my life. This is the purpose of being a doctor.
Today, a typical case is rushed into the ER. It's a case that would be familiar in any ER anywhere in the world. The boy has eaten something nasty.
چرس مرسونه دی پرده کورګي ماجون نه کورګي دي سړي چې په خوړلې دي کورګي صرف دغه بوټه مې سره دله خدای بوټه چې دغه سپین بوټه چې سپین ګول نسی کنه ها سپین ګول نسی وړي پانی چې وړي دومره بوټه This is datura. Most of the symptoms he's having, the temperature is high, he's dilated pupil, he's tachycardic, and he's just disoriented. So this is in between. So we will treat it as datura poisoning. This is the injection which can reverse the action of that drug which he has taken. Yeah, he will be fine, inshallah. But we'll keep this child in observation, at least 8 hours here.
Meanwhile, Lal Badshah, the young labourer with the almost severed ankle, is in the observation ward. His operation has been successful, but it will be more than 4 months before he can work again.
The people are lovely, the Pashto people. kind and warm and very accepting, actually. I think I was prepared for the worst because this area is a very sensitive issue for Westerners. And when I got here, it was much easier than I thought. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think there was a period where I was being tested and about my knowledge and my skills. But I think that's for any expat, a new expat doctor that comes through here. And it was very quickly that I bonded with the staff and they began to respect me. And I think now, I think they're comfortable having me as a supervisor. Sometimes the specialists are an older generation, and when they come into the ER, sometimes they ignore me completely, and they'd rather speak to the male ER doctor, which I step away and I let them do that. I mean, it's okay with me.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This man has been rushed into the emergency room. He's unconscious.
Aksha, three adrenaline, 3 atropine. Okay, finish with the atropine, give adrenaline again. Okay, who knows the story, what happened here?
Epileptic patient. So he went to psychiatrist there and he collapsed there.
Do you have naloxone? Naloxone?
Yes, we have. Why not?
Yeah? Okay. Aksha, get naloxone ready. Naloxone. He's still warm. Carry on. Did he have a fit?
Yeah, this patient there, this is unconscious this morning.
Coming upward.
Action.
What
Bring it. Patient expired at 4:34.
Later, the team finds this epileptic patient had been taken to 2 other clinics before ending up in the Timagara ER.
He's written these tablets.
But according to the attendants, he's been unconscious since this morning.
Since morning.
We see conditions that we can do something about normally, but the late presentation is the thing that I think concerns us the most and gets to us the most.
Yeah, we have feelings, but in our profession, you don't need sympathy with the patient. You have to show empathy towards patient, because if the patient is dying and you are weeping, then how do you do your job well? You have to work.
The next morning, and a casualty of the gun culture here.
أبي سواقلا سواقلا وقول سوالا وقول سوالا وقول سوالا خبش خا تيجي خا إن شاء الله خبش. Eye is open. Just you can see the pulsating eye.
Yeah.
The bullet has crossed the eye globe. The entry is here and the exit is here. So it crossed, it blown away the upper side of the lateral side of the eye. And we're calling the ophthalmologist, the eye surgeon. We are calling now. He will be coming here. He will be examining, and we will do the X-ray. So they will know the exact nature of the injury. Because she don't know the nature of the gun. If this is a shotgun, so maybe something, some foreign bodies will be there. A lot of gunshot wounds they are coming. Some of them are accidental, some are suicidal, some are homicidal. They are coming. A lot of this is our culture, and she's quite lucky. The brain is saved, but just this is also unlucky that she's lost eye.
Umar Basha, the relative who brought in his 60-year-old mother-in-law Sultana Bibi, gives his explanation of what happened.
دا د دوه کسانو په خپل منځ کې څه جګړه وه کور کې دوه وروڼه لکه څه جګړه باندې وران شوي نو دی لکه ګواښ دا یو یې رانیولی دی چې ته مه کوه لکه هغه تمانچه راایستل ان تمانچه دې چلېدل لګي.
The health ministry ophthalmologist arrives in the afternoon.
We will repair the whole structure
but the eyeball is shattered, that cannot be repaired. That is totally gone. We will implant artificial eyeball later on.
دا په سترګو واټ کې داخل شو دا به سبا اپریشن کوي بس دا والی او صحیح ادا باندې کوي بس واټ لاړ شي بر آی واټ دا سترګو واټ نه صحیح اوس بیا
سارا واټ دی واټ او
بیا دا بس سترګو غاټه دا شی اوبه دلې کی ها خبردار سترګو بل برابر کی بیا د ځان لګا دا خپلې غاټي ملاوي کی په کې نظر نه اسه شوشا به برابر ها زي الله خیر کړی چې بچ دا ٹھیک ده چو زي ځان واټ
Although the Pakistan Ministry of Health has ceded management of the red cases to the Médecins, visits are made to check up on standards. Today there's a visit from the ministry's local health chief.
It is full to the brim.
They're doing well. Our own district, we suffered a lot from the militants few months ago. Then unfortunately the floods came, and whatever the infrastructure we had, all destroyed. So now we are in need of each and everything. People, poor people will come and they were not satisfied because we had no other resources. The local people are now happy. They observed MSF, that what they are doing here, and now they are happy, they are satisfied, and now they are expecting that the MSF should extend their activities in other units as well. So we are expecting, inshallah, they will do it.
But in Pashtun society, it's the tribal elders and imams who hold most sway. So even if the health ministry is happy, it's not the whole story unless the elders are too. The medics are careful to keep the lines open to the most influential members of the community. Malik Hazir Zada is one of the most respected tribal elders.
تقریبا کډیر 80% خو ورته خګوري کنه که 20% خراب ګوري یا د اچا په نظر کې یا علم یې نه.
For MSF, the constant challenge is to project its humanitarian, non-interference position.
We are very neutral. We are very transparent about our activities, about our funding, and our agenda is quite straightforward. We are just here to provide free medical care to the poor population.
24 hours after her arrival at the Timagara ER, Sultana Bibi, the woman who had her eye shot out, is semi-conscious as she's being operated on.
General anesthesia was contraindicated due to high blood pressure. She was a risky patient for general anesthesia. So we did all the surgery with local anesthesia and sedation. All the tissues, they were cleaned. The dead tissues, the foreign particles which are found, they are removed. So I started deep tissues stitching.
Meanwhile, in the emergency room, the flow of casualties is never ending. A 2-year-old girl has been brought to the ER by a distraught grandmother. Shabina fell 3 meters from a roof onto her head.
The CT scan shows cerebral edema, which means that there was some sort of concussion or damage that has made the brain swell. At the moment, her level of consciousness has improved, so we'll keep her for observation. But obviously, if she deteriorates, then we'll investigate again and maybe refer up to Peshawar, which is a 4-hour trip.
The next morning, the hospital is empty. Only the emergency room team is on duty. It's the start of Eid al-Adha, which Muslim families celebrate just after the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. Just 24 hours after her operation, Sultana Bibi has to leave.
Because of Eid holidays, there will be nobody available in here except the emergency services. So I discharged her with the promise that the relatives that they should properly give her antibiotics.
As for the incident, Sultana gives a totally different story. Instead of a fight, she says it was a suicide attempt by her nephew. Sultana Bibi's brother, the nephew's father, is here to bring her back home. A suicide attempt means less trouble for his son with the police than an attempted murder.